photographers and designers. Welcome to Coaching for Creatives. I am McKay. I am the founder of Business of Creativity, and I am hosting today's episode, which is all about finding your niche. And yes, I'm going to say niche. I am from Canada. Some people say niche. That's where the saying, the riches are in the niches, came from. But today we're going to talk about how you can find your niche as a photographer or designer. When I first started in photography, which was, a very long time ago in the late 1900s, one of the things that I loved about photography is that it had so much diversity in it. I loved photographing so many things. I loved being able to do street photography. I loved photographing the nude and figure. I loved photographing people in the studio. I loved photographing architecture. I loved doing travel photography. I just loved all kinds of photography. The exception might have been forensic photography, might have been the thing that I was least interested in being able to look at. I was the kind of photographer who just loved photography. I loved the idea of being able to see something and then use science and this amazing tool to be able to interpret it and capture it in a way that I felt was unique to me. And the idea of having to choose one subject or choose one area or choose one thing to focus on for my business just felt so stifling as a multi-passionate person. It just felt like it was actually turning away business, and it was almost ruining the whole reason I wanted to be a photographer in the first place, which was to have freedom of expression and be able to tell a whole bunch of different stories and be able to work with a whole bunch of different people. I resisted for a very long time the idea of finding a specific niche or area of expertise or a zone of focus. I really wanted to be a generalist, and I did that for a long time. Most of you who are just starting out in your creative business may start by doing a lot of different kind of work for a lot of different kind of people. It's a great way to start because it helps you identify what kinds of photography work or what kinds of design work you really resonate with. Part of finding your niche is being able to do more work that you love. Who doesn't want more work that we love, more clients that inspire us, and more projects that fill us up creatively? For me, making the decision to actually choose to focus on something was really challenging and really hard. What I found was over the course of almost 2 decades of 20 years of being a photographer, my niche changed over time. I would be focusing on mostly doing travel documentary, photographing hotels and resort properties. And then I moved into doing more event based. And then I moved into doing more corporate based. Over time, my focus really shifted. And it's one of the things that I love about photography is that I can be multi passionate. I just need to be multi-passionate, one thing at a time, one thing after each other. That's really what I help my clients do, is be able to find what is the first place that you're going to focus your time and energy, and find that niche to be able to build the foundation for your business so that you can start exploring multiple passions as you adjust your niche over time. Finding your niche can be a struggle. I can totally relate, and it's important. Why is it so important? Why do so many people tell us over and over again, you need to find your niche? Why do all of the marketers tell you need to have a niche? You need to identify your niche. What's your niche? The reason why, there's a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is that finding a niche really means narrowing your focus, about finding a specific sliver or area of the marketplace that you're going to focus on. And that's valuable in and of itself. The ability to focus your time and your energy will help you avoid things like burnout and overwhelm, will help you be able to be energized and invigorated by the kinds of work that you're going to be getting. Focus in itself is valuable just for you and your own business. Focus is really powerful and valuable for focusing your marketing efforts. Marketing is hard, folks. There's a lot of work to do when you're marketing. And if you're trying to market to a lot of different areas at the same time, that's going to get exhausting really quickly. And it might even be doing you harm. If you're focusing on, I want to photograph headshots and I want to photograph architecture and I want to photograph families and I want to photograph travel photography, it can start to dilute your expertise. It can start to have a consequence on that trust factor that is so critical to people hiring us, especially hiring us for creative services, hiring us to deliver a promise. We need that trust. And the more consistent we can be in our messaging, the more consistent we can be in what our marketing is focused on, the more trust and credibility that we're going to build up. The last thing that I'm going to share with you about why I think it's so important to figure out your niche is that finding your niche is going to support you in designing your offers. What do I mean by that? You could look at a room full of photographers and you could say, okay, every photographer is going to be offering headshots in this room. But what you'll find is that each of them has a different kind of headshot offer, a different way of packaging their headshots together. Some do headshots in the studio, some do multiple different changes of wardrobe, some do, 20 files, some do 2 files. So each photographer is going to design their offer to be very specific to how they like to work and how their niche likes to be served. If you're trying to serve a whole bunch of different kinds of clients and you want to serve them with a whole bunch of different kinds of offers, again, you're giving yourself so much more work. And being a photographer or designer is a challenge in and of itself. Don't make it harder on yourself by doing 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times the work. Having a niche will allow you to focus what kind of services does that niche really want. And when I speak about niche in this context, I'm talking about your target market. Sometimes niche means target market, and you can really focus on what your target market really wants, values, and will pay for. Sometimes you can niche not based on your target market. Let's talk about that for a moment. How do you actually find your niche? I propose to you that there are 3 different ways that photographers and designers could possibly niche their business. You can do that based on your subjects, your style, or your usage. Those are 3 different areas that you can focus on to niche your business or your services. Let's look at the first one, subject. You can be a people photographer, or you can be a logo designer. You can be a product photographer. You could be a landscape photographer. You could be an architectural photographer. These are all different ways that you could niche based on your subject. And within that niche, you can offer lots of different kinds of services or do lots of different kinds of styles of photography. One of the ways that you can find your niche is to look at what are the subjects that you want to be working with, that you want to be photographing or having in front of your camera. The second way that you can niche is based on your usage. This is when we're talking about target market. The how people and businesses use your images or use your designs, this is focusing on a target market or usage as your niche. For instance, you might focus on, I want to photograph editorial work for magazines. That would be your niche. Or I want to photograph mostly for large corporate businesses. That would be your niche. And you might do multiple different kinds of photography for large corporate businesses. Many of my clients are in smaller towns, and what they find is that they need to be a generalist in terms of their subjects, but they can be a specialist or have a niche in terms of who they serve, or they can have a niche in terms of their style. For those of you that are in small towns or you are in smaller markets, you might have to still be doing lots of different kinds of subjects, and you might be doing them for lots of different kinds of clients. You might be thinking, okay, how do I then niche my business, Aura, if I have lots of different clients and lots of different subjects? Well, the last way that you as a photographer could niche your business is by looking at your style. You can create a brand and a business based on a specific style of photography. Composite photographers often are doing this because they're creating a very specific way of finishing an image to create a style of image. You find that there's photojournalistic style, there's natural light style, there's very soft style, there's very crisp and clean and sharp styles. There's all different ways of defining your style that can help you niche your business. Niching your business truly is about focusing your time and effort and energy so that you can simplify the actions that you need to take and find work that you love at a price that's going to help you live your dreams. We know that it's important. We know now that there are 3 ways that you can do it. And I get it that even after watching this video, you might still be thinking to yourself, I have no idea what my niche is. Give me a DM, send me a message, book a call with me. Let's have a conversation. And maybe by finding your niche, you can simplify your marketing, simplify your business, and start to earn more money doing work that you love. That's my hope for you. This has been Coaching for Creatives. I will see you here next time. Have a fantastic day.